family? Welcome to the channel, Dope Soul Sports Talk, Dope Soul Knicks Talk, a member of the NBK family. This is the I Cram to Understand You call-in show where we take controversial players and topics, and instead of pushing back and arguing with each other, you get an opportunity to help us understand where you're coming from. And I am so looking forward to this show on RJ Barrett. We didn't get an opportunity to do the podcast. What I wanted to do was get somebody who really supported RJ Barrett, somebody who not so much supported RJ Barrett, like we did with Julius Randle. We didn't get an opportunity to do that. The newsletter, my newsletter, weekly newsletter, came out this morning, a day late. It was a busy weekend. And I gave my takes on RJ Barrett. I'll pin it I'll put it in the chat because I want to pin the link so that you guys can jump on the show. That's going to be pinned in the chat in a minute. The lines are open, so you'll be able to call into the show. But I just want to rehash what I said in the newsletter, basically my take on RJ Barrett, and then we'll open it up to the panel, and then we will open it up to you guys. Basically, my point was I'm not very high on RJ Barrett. Just me personally. You know, when I think about what his ceiling might be, can he improve? Yes, he very well can improve. Anybody can improve. That's not what I'm saying. But from what I've seen over the first 4 years of his career, I wouldn't put my hard-earned money on it. Doesn't mean he won't do it, but I'm not putting my money on it. And partly is because as I delved into not just his traditional stats or the counting stats, as I delved into the advanced stats, it was clear to me, it kind of confirmed what I saw with my own eyes, that there isn't something that RJ Barrett does very well. Now, as far as the intangibles are concerned, I like the fact that he's somebody that doesn't really get down on himself. He's somebody that comes across to me as somebody who's mentally tough. We've seen him shoot like crap, like I said in the newsletter, for 45 minutes, then hit a big shot in the fourth quarter. We've seen him have a not so great season. Now, he did have flashes during this season. If you can remember, prior to when the injury in Dallas, he was on a really good clip. Then he got injured. I think it was his thumb, his hand. And when he came back, he didn't look, that great. But he was able to turn it on in the playoffs. So this is somebody, when I see that, this is somebody that's not feeling sorry for himself. This is somebody that's not sulking when they're not shooting well. They're in it. They're waiting for their opportunity. And he seems to be, a bit clutch. I might be overstating that, but he may be a bit clutch. So I like that about RJ Barrett. I like his work ethic. I like the fact that he's available. He's played over 70 games in 3 of his 4 seasons in the league. I like that about RJ Barrett. The issue with me with RJ Barrett is the skill set. You got somebody who takes 64% of their shots below the free throw line and does not hit them at even an average rate. At even an average rate. Then he takes 32% or 33% of his shots from the free throw line, and he doesn't hit those at even an average rate. He's not a plus defender. There's times when he's solid, but I wouldn't say that he's a plus defender. He'll rebound for you. 5 rebounds, 5 to 6 rebounds a game. That's pretty good. But he takes a lot of drives. I forget how many it is per game. I want to say it was 12.8 drives, something. I'm not sure what it is. But his assists out of the drives weren't good. He turned the ball over at a high rate off of his drive. So when I look at RJ Barrett, I just don't see anything that he can even hang his hat on other than his mental toughness to say, yeah, this is something you can count on from me game in and game. I guess getting to the rim, you can definitely count on that. He's elite at getting to the rim no matter what. He's going to get there. What he does when he get there, that's a whole other story. But he will get there. So when I'm looking at RJ Barrett, in the newsletter, I compared him to others at his position because I think that's important. We're looking at him in a vacuum. what he's doing for our team, and that's important. But I think you also have to compare him to others at his position so that at some point you can say, hey, we're paying him this salary for him to do this. Look at this other guy doing something similar at his position for a quarter of the price. Maybe I'm exaggerating. But the point is, that's important where he stacks up with others at his position. So I hope RJ Barrett has a breakout season um, coming up because that's going to raise the ceiling of the team. But I'm really interested for those who are super high on RJ Barrett. I'm really interested in why. Like, what is it that you've seen up to this point in his career that makes you like, what are you expecting from what you've seen, and why are you expecting it? Is it just faith? You just believe that it's time? Or have you seen something that makes you think he's trending up? So I'm really interested in hearing the chat. I really want you to call in. I really want you to even hop on the panel. And I'm even interested to hear what the fellow we haven't talked about this. I got some inkling, but we haven't really talked about how people feel as of late about RJ Barrett's ceiling. So let's start with the panel. Welcome, guys. Jeff, Boogie, Ajay, Stafford, Jarrell. I appreciate you guys joining us. How you feeling?
Awesome.
Awesome. It's good to be here,
All right.
as usual.
Feeling
Salute,
great.
salute to the chat.
Day all day. I'm good.
All right. Okay. All right. So let's start with you guys on the panel, and then we'll open it up to the chat. What, in your opinion, is RJ ceiling? You can answer any variation of this question. Where do you think is RJ ceiling? Do you think he's approaching his ceiling? He's there already. Do you think he can take another leap this upcoming season? And more importantly to me, why do you what makes you think that? You know, is it just a feeling, or you've seen something that makes you think that this guy's about to take the next step? Um, let's go the other way. We're gonna go Jarrell, Stafford, Ajay, Boogie, Jeff.
Okay. The synopsis that you gave for RJ Barrett is pretty spot on. I think I agree with pretty much everything that you said about him. Like RJ's been pretty much a disappointment since he's been drafted, and I think like if you're an RJ fan, I think you more like the idea of what he should or can be in the future. Like as of right now, I don't think his game is really. I don't want to say warranted for praise because you could be a fan of his, like you could be a fan of the Knicks and be a big fan of RJ. I'm not saying you should not be a big fan of RJ. If that's your guy, that's your guy. But for those of us that are pretty much neutral, like I don't hate or love RJ. I'm pretty much neutral when it comes to him. I like his work ethic. Um, I like how he approaches the game, like you was talking about his mental toughness.
Mm-hmm.
But other than that, all of the work that he's put in hasn't, I don't know, it hasn't showed up on the court yet. So if it does this year, obviously that'll be a good thing for the Knicks. But
Right.
since he hasn't done it yet, like you said before, I wouldn't put my money on it. To answer your question about his ceiling, that's the hard part about this question for me. I don't know what his ceiling is anymore. I mean, RJ was a top 5 pick in the draft. He was obviously a talented kid coming out of high school, number one prospect out of high school, spent the 1 year at Duke, was picked in the top 5. So I think a lot of people think just because he was picked at 3rd, like he's supposed to be in the Hall of Fame trajectory. Like it just doesn't happen that way for everybody. And it seems like it's not going to happen for RJ either. I don't really see a pathway of him other than like his shots falling or he changes his game, like get a mid-range jumper.
Mm-hmm.
Like other than that, like you said before, he's not a good finisher. He doesn't do any particular thing well. And combine that on the offensive end with what he does on defense. I mean, sometimes I'll be thinking RJ is a cone. Like he was actually a better defender, like his first and second year in the league than he is in his fourth. So that's not really making any sense either for me. So yeah, I don't know what his ceiling is. Like I don't think before I used to think that his ceiling can be like sometime all-star, but as of right now, I don't think that anymore. I think he just might be an average player. He just has to be more efficient. So until he gets more efficient and more consistent in his shot making, then he will be nothing but like a high volume scorer that needs a lot of shots. That's it for me.
Okay, Staffer.
Salute to you, Queen. It's always a pleasure to be on. Thank you. I appreciate it. Salute to the fellas. Salute to the chat.
Corey Lee, don't go nowhere. I'm really expecting you to call in. Go ahead, Staffer.
Boy, RJ, the golden child. The one-time person that nobody couldn't talk about at one point in time.
Right, I remember that.
He is the next face of the Knicks. But apparently now that we are going into the fifth season with him, I believe, or fourth season. Fifth season. And as Jarrell stated out, the things that he has been doing hasn't been getting no improvement. Yes, he's a high volume scorer. Yes, he averaged 14 points, then I think it's 17, then 20, and then I think it's 19.8 or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
But he still needs to improve in a lot of things. I was listening to a show the other night, I think it's with Tony Crow, and Eru was just going off on him, like the things that we supposed to be learning while we at a young age, like he is just trying to do it over again. And each time we see these videos is the same thing that he's trying to work on, and it doesn't apply to the game. We probably might see it once or twice in the game, but we don't really see the things that he's working on. And I know he's an excellent guy going to the rim. We can't take nothing away from him.
Right.
But he needs to be more efficient. I don't see him as an all-star either. I definitely gotta agree with Jarrell. He's going to be an average player in this league. I really don't see a ceiling for him. Also too, trust me, because I know a lot of people in this panel and on the chat gonna say they kind of tired of the excuses and the slow starts, and he's just 22. I think a fan like myself going to be 23, or he is 23, but I'm kind of one of those persons where I'm kind of tired of the excuses also too, and it's time for him, as Kerry Cox said in the chat, is a year we have to show and prove right now. I think he's going to be on the trading block once, if the season not over, but next season, or could be by the trading deadline. You never know, but he needs to start off very good this year. I think the FIBA basketball might help him out a little bit, to get those adrenaline going, get his game going. So I don't want to down the kid. I don't, he's not, I don't want to say he's trash. He's a good player, else, he wouldn't be making general wealth for his family. So I got to applaud him for that too. But, RJ needs to improve in a lot of things for me to say, well, he has a next level to go. But right now, it ain't looking too good, Queen. It ain't looking too good.
Okay. RJ.
Well, salute to you, Queen. So to the panel, so to the chat, and me remind the chat, y'all gotta hit that like button, man. It's Tuesday night. We slacking off. We lagging already on the amount of viewers against the amount of likes that we have. So, and I hope everybody on the panel also hit the like.
I just did.
But you just did. All right. So, well, RJ Barrett, you know, I think when Stafford started his, his answer, he said RJ Barrett's the golden child. Is one of the guys like nobody could talk about because fans would be coming for you, right? I'm one of those fans that used to be coming for people when they talk smack about RJ Barrett. That's my guy, all right? He's the highest pick we've had since Patrick Ewing. Okay, so and I was expecting big things, all right? I am extremely disappointed in RJ Barrett. And not because, I mean, obviously, listen, anybody in the NBA is talented, right? Anybody tell you somebody in NBA trash don't know what they're talking about. To be one of those 500 or so players, I mean, you have to be one of the best in the world. So if you make it through the door, you're worth something. All right. But listen, RJ Barrett's he's going to be in the crowd. Right now, I don't see RJ Barrett he's not going to be a standout. Yeah, he's going to have some good games. Listen, like I said, anybody in NBA, they have some good games. They have some bad games. They hit big shot. They clutch. One or two games they clutch. They come. They hit the big shot. It happens all year, like game in and game out. But to be that stud, to be that consistent guy, to be the perennial all-star, to be that guy, I just don't see him making that. And that's unfortunate because he has all the incentives to do it. But part of his contract is if he makes the all-star, he gets more money, right? I don't remember what the incentive is, but if he makes the all-star, he get more money. And not to say making an all-star mean you're good or great, because you got to remember half of that vote comes from the fan. So RJ Barrett is already, being from New York, and the Knicks have a lot of fans. So if he gives us a little something, he's going to get a lot of votes. But he's not even giving us that little something. Last season was, I keep saying this, people just remember his performance in the playoffs, which was okay, in my opinion. But last year it was a terrible year for RJ Barrett. That your fourth year shouldn't be your worst year. And it was for him. I don't care that he's 22, 23. Being good in the NBA is a combination of age, talent, skills, determination, of experience. He's got a lot of experience. He's got a lot of determination, but I don't know about the talent in this company. Certain things you don't have, and that can get you but that far. So right now, I mean, we're going on the fifth year. I don't see some of those elements in RJ Barrett's game. So he has the physique, he has the determination, he has the talent to be in the NBA, but he's not, I don't see elite in him. And as a number three, dare I say, as a Knicks fan, if we pick a number three, damn it, I expect him to be great. Because when I look at the number threes that came, the third picks that came before him, I mean, we're talking about Luka Doncic, Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown, Joel Embiid, I mean, those are number three picks. I expect RJ Barrett to at least be in the same conversation as those guys. Right now, he is not. Okay.
Was he, for those who remember, was he as good a prospect coming out of college as those guys? Because one of the things we have to remember is if it's a weak draft, you can be a number three player and not be that good. So was he touted like that coming out of college?
Queen, I'm going to answer that. So he was higher, a higher prospect in high school. But by the time college rolled around, by the time he played that 1 year, he dropped a little bit, but he didn't drop that far. So that draft, which they call a weak draft, actually had, you had guys in there that, by many stats are better than RJ Barrett, and that draft wasn't bad at all. When you look at it.
I was just
saying, was he as good across drafts? Was he as good a prospect as those guys, Embiid, Brown, whatever?
RJ was very, very good as a prospect, but if you're asking, was he like a generational talent? No.
Well, neither
Is
was
that what you?
Brown. Was he more highly touted than Jaylen Brown coming out of college? I know they
Uh,
were in different drafts.
Well, coming out of high school, higher. Like
Yeah.
RJ was the #1 prospect in the country.
Right.
So that 1 year, even though Zion took off because of his athleticism and size, obviously, with that 1 year at Duke, but RJ was the #1 prospect coming into Duke that year, not Zion. So yeah, to answer your question, if you're going to compare him to Jaylen Brown, we still would have drafted RJ Barrett, I think.
Wow, we would have drafted him over Jaylen Brown. Oh,
At the time.
okay. At the time.
Yes.
Okay. Okay. All right. Good enough.
And his draft, we call his draft weak, but it really was. When you look at it, I mean, after 4 seasons, you're looking at guys like Darius Garland, even Rui Hachimura, Cam Johnson, PJ Washington, Tyler Hero. I mean, those guys are all in the same draft. Those guys. I'm not saying they're better than RJ, but Brendan Clark, Grant Williams, I think was
Right.
in the same draft. Nick Claxton, Jordan Poole, like all those guys. I'm not saying they're better than RJ Barrett, but they're more impactful.
Right.
Let's say, I mean, we're talking about RJ Barrett. Guy, honestly, if RJ Barrett was, let's say, in Houston, he probably wouldn't have the clout that he does. You know what I'm saying? I mean, because he's in New York, so there's a lot. The lights, for some reason because it's the Knicks, they shine a little brighter in New York, right? And RJ Barrett was literally given the keys to the franchise the minute he stepped in here. I mean, he's got a ton of playing time. He made a ton of mistakes. That never changed anything. He got away with a lot, okay, as if he was in a small market team, but he was never held. I don't want to say not held accountable, but nothing was ever taken away from him. They still giving him more playing time. They still giving him more the benefit of doubt, but he just hasn't come through consistently as I would have wished. As a guy who really rooted for RJ Barrett from day one.
I'll say this real quick when it comes to the Knicks and the draft, right? The only way you would say that RJ was a bad pick at this point is because you would look at it like in hindsight.
Right.
At the time, he
Right.
was the pick.
Right.
I just don't like.
He was the
Now
third
you-
best prospect in
Exactly.
that draft. Right.
He was the pick. He was supposed to be the pick.
Right.
It's not like it was somebody close to him and we didn't draft him and they just ended up like Tyler Hero. We wasn't going to pick Tyler Hero third over RJ. Nobody would have.
Or Darius Garland, which I think came 4th or 5th. We would have never
fourth.
drafted Darius Garland.
He was 4th.
Yeah.
He was right after RJ. So nobody would have picked Darius Garland over RJ.
Yeah.
Not even Cleveland at the time if they had 3.
Right.
Yeah, and showing it was just a comparison with RJ and Jaylen Brown. We never said that Jaylen came out the same year with
Right.
RJ.
Yeah,
It's just a comparison.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just comparing all the third picks, I mean, not even considering how strong the draft was. But like I said, we're Knicks fan. We dream big, right? We like, oh man, look at what those number 3s were. We're probably gonna have some good. And
Can we answer this real quick before we get to Boogie? He's still the pick. If that draft is redrafted, he still gets picked 3rd. I don't know about that.
no,
Think
yes,
that's right today. No.
No, not after. If we redo this draft, but I think Jarrell was saying like it doesn't matter. He was gonna be the 3rd pick after, but if you look at what the other guys were, no, he would.
Right. But that's what Bang USA Sports is saying. He's still the pick. If that draft is redrafted, he still gets picked. He'll get picked. I don't know if he'll get picked 3rd though.
No.
Today.
No,
Those articles come out all the time, where they'll redraft a draft class.
right. RJ would probably barely make top 10 at this point.
Right. Boogie?
Shout out to the chat, the world's most famous fan people it is up under this orange and blue, and shout out to the panel. Appreciate you, sis. Appreciate all my brothers. Always appreciate my brothers. Me being the baby of this show. I like that. I don't get to celebrate like that too much. But That's on y'all. That's on everybody in the chat. RJ can't trick me no more. I gotta see it. You gotta show it to me. I'm done with RJ. I'm completely done with him. You know, be honest with you, with that Duke class, all three of them been a disaster. All of them. Zion with his injuries, RJ not living up, and we already know Cam's situation. He been everywhere. So that whole Duke class been a disaster. But you know, me personally, I stick with my guns and stick what I know and stick what I learned from other ball players and been around and everything. This is not the Tim Duncan, the Grant Hill era. This is not what I mean by that. You're not doing your 4 years in college. If you do 4 years in college now, they're saying that it took you too long to develop. If you come to the league and you ain't got it in 4 years, they say you might not get it. And right now, RJ is on that list that he might not get it. You know, but when are we going to stop trying to make RJ into an offensive player? When is RJ just going to realize we need a 3-and-D? Do something else for the team. Be that small forward. Because he don't slip from all positions. You know, slip from the 2 guard to the 3 guard. Now we talking about him playing power forward. He ain't got no more positions to play. He's on his last leg. And you got that money. He's the only person.
Point guard his rookie year.
Yeah, that too. He's the only person right now that's not up under any money situations. Everybody else is up under money situation. They got to prove to get that bag. All the way from Leon Rose. He's up under money situation. His whole staff, all the way to Tom and other players like Quick, they're up under money situations. And we already know what's coming with, you know, with JB and Julius is soon to come and all that. But I'm done with RJ. You know, you got to show it to me on the floor, man. I mean, all this, you know, you working out, doing the same things every off season, man, doing the same moves, you know what I'm saying? You still in slow-mo. I see the video, and I turn immediately from it. You know what I'm saying? When are you going to do something that's going to help the team and stop trying to figure out what your game is, dude? He's not an offensive player, and people try to keep making him into an offensive player. He doesn't have lateral movement. He does not have quickness. He's not fast. He's not shifty. You know what I'm saying? He's undecided with his game to me. You know, I'm not going to call the person out, but I heard last night somebody call him the 3rd pick, Justin Winslow. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, wow, that's crazy. You know, and RJ got to get it. Until he get it, I'm not a fan of what he's doing. You just got a Knick jersey on. That's just me. I want my team, the team part that I love, to be swinging for something. And if you holding us back, you need to get out the way. And this here's going this 5 years. 5 years. You don't have the number 1 defensive player checking you, you know, and you're not checking the number 1 offensive player. You're getting at least the 4th best player on defense checking you, because the number 1 is checking Brush, and number 2 is checking Julius, and the 3rd is either trapping Jalen or trapping trapping Julius. So you're supposed to be putting in that work, and you ain't putting in no work. Ain't nobody. You supposed to come to the gym, to the game, ready to eyes this big as a high beam. You checking me tonight? Oh, I'm getting ready to go crazy. But I don't mean by just putting up shot after shot. I'm talking about makeable shots, you know what I'm saying? Good shots. You know, sometimes he just go off and just do what he want to do, go 1-on-3. Come on. You know your game don't consist of you doing that. You know, just, you know, I'm not gonna keep going in on RJ because I don't want to, you know what I'm saying, make it seem like I'm bashing him, but in the kind of way I am. You know what I mean? Because when NBK, Knick Fan TV, and they come out with these packages, and I go and I spend my money with them, I'm going to see. But when I don't go to the games with none of them, I spend that hard-earned money at the Delta. You know what I'm saying? So I have the right, me personally, when I'm spending $1,400, $1,500, $1,700 to sit up close to see, and you're not putting on for me, I'm going to say what I want to say about you. You can like it or not like it. But I don't see an up-close view when he came into the building and the dude told him personally, yo, this your night. And he told him, yo, I'm good. What you mean you good? What you mean you good? That was it. I'm good. Nah, you're supposed to be like, man, this is I'm getting ready to turn up. I'm getting ready to crush something tonight. He's not, you know, prepared to even walk in the gym plenty times that I don't see him. You know, so me, Jay Boogie, personally, I'm not going to continue on rooting and keep following down that path. I wish RJ this, wish RJ that. You know, now, RJ, you got to get it. If you can't get it, Leon, you need to find something to do with him. He already got that bag. He got that bag coming in. And if you can't play yourself to the bag, you're not going to play yourself with the bag. Point blank.
That's fair. I just want to highlight Jeff. I know Jeff is ready. S. Brooke, and I really hope you call into the show. Put the target down, the crosshairs down. We are lucky. We always look at take out one of our players, pick up our players, and stop putting them down. What can they do other than what they can't do? So, as Brooklyn, I want you to call into the show or hop on the panel. I'm going to drop the link in a little while and let us know what RJ Barrett can do. Okay?
I want to know why we're lucky.
And why we're lucky. Yeah, let us know why we're lucky and what we can do. And for those that don't know, most of the people here are returnees. So you already know that this ain't the pom pom podcast, right? We're gonna give our opinions, and if we like a player, we're gonna talk. Like, this is where we're gonna be real. We're gonna be honest. We're fans as well, but you can be a fan and be critical. You can be a fan and not like something. You can be a fan and have an issue with something. So when you come to this show, we talk about what we like. We talk about what we don't like. We're not going to gloss over anything. And we disagree with each other. It's coming. The disagreements are coming. But S. Brooklyn, I would love for you to call in and let us know why we're lucky and what RJ Barrett does do well in your opinion. This is the call-in show. Jeff?
Ooh, you know what? I'm going to be a little bit positive here in my answer to your question. Before I do that, I do want to say that I agree with the sentiment of everybody who spoke before me. I'm not a fan of RJ's inefficiency. I'm not a fan of his lackluster defense. So I'm not someone who's big into RJ, but just because I like to be a positive thinker, what I'm going to say is this, and this may not be a good take, I don't know, but what I'll say is this RJ's never really been pushed like he's going to be this year. We have talent around and behind and maybe even in front of him that's better than he's ever seen. Right. And if he doesn't play well and he doesn't perform, he's going to get splinters in his rear end from sitting on the bench. And I don't think there's any question about that. I think that this is the year for him to take that pressure, because sometimes that pressure can be good. Sometimes if you're working for that next meal and you know that if you don't play and you don't perform, sometimes that's what spurs people on to fulfill their potential, whatever that ceiling might be. I don't happen to think that it's that high, but if you get this guy and he's playing solid defense every night and he's hitting the corner three at the rate that he did in his second season, then he's playable, and to me, part of it is roster construction as well, because between RJ, Brandel, and Brunson, that's not a really good mix of players. That's not a really good fit. And the problem is Barrett's not shown to be the kind of talent that you work the rest of your roster around him. He's just not that at this point in his career. Now, if you say that we're going to do that for Jalen Brunson, I'm on board. If you say we're going to do about Julius Randle, I'm a little less on board, but it's kind of like the Goldilocks and the Three Bears. He's the one. He's the one that's the least likely. But I don't really see him fulfilling the ceiling that we thought he had when we drafted him. But for a guy who seems to respond when he's under fire a little bit, like he kind of did in this playoffs. I don't think he played well, but he played well for RJ. It's an opportunity for him to take. To me, I think the Knicks are just looking for the right deal to get rid of him. I don't, at this point, I don't think he's in the long-term plans of the franchise.
Sorry.
I heard somebody earlier say, somebody said something about the Olympics, Canada, he should be put on. Well, let me throw this out. It's going to be a disaster if somebody that got cut starts in his spot. If he comes off that bench and Brooks, who got cut, and I know some people say his contract ran out. No, they told that man, you're not coming back, so that means you cut. If Brooks starts at the 3 and RJ comes off that bench, because you already know Wiggins is playing the 4, and you know who in the backcourt. If he doesn't start over there in Canada, it's over for him. Ain't nothing to prove.
Is Wiggins over there? I thought Wiggins wasn't on the roster. He's there?
I don't think.
I didn't think it was
No,
on the
I don't
roster.
think he's there. I don't think he's on the roster.
I thought Wiggins was on the roster.
No, he's not.
No, he's not.
Well, you got to break. Take advantage of it. Please.
Right.
What's
So
up?
we have the okay, Corey Lee. Okay. I was about to say, I'll put the pin in the chat. I pinned the link to the chat. Corey Lee and hopped on already. That's what I'm talking about.
All right.
That's what I'm talking about, Corey Lee. So when you hop on the panel, we're just trying to keep it to 2 to 3 minutes just to give your take. And particularly what we're talking about is, what do you think RJ Barrett's ceiling is? Do you think he can still take that leap next season? And what is it that you've seen so far that makes you believe that that's possible? So let's let Corey Lee in so we could try to understand. Hello there, sir.
Salute, Corey Lee.
Salute, Corey.
You muted.
Salute, Mr. Lee.
CLV.
Hey, how y'all doing?
We doing good. How are you?
How you doing, Jay? I'm doing well. I appreciate y'all having me on. I want to say one thing first, real quick. Shout out and salutations and happy birthday to my man Jay Boogie's wife. You know what I'm saying? My brother from Queens.
Appreciate that.
Happy birthday to your wife, Jay Boogie.
No problem. I appreciate it.
Corey Lee, you going in and out. I was looking forward to this now. Yeah, it's no.
It's all chopped up.
Oh, God, bro. I'm
Okay,
trying to.
okay, right now. All right, Staffer. Right now, you in a good spot.
What I got to do with me, yo?
Stand still. Okay, there you go. I think you're good now.
All right, 1 second.
Try say something, Corey Lee.
That
1
sounded
second.
good.
Can y'all hear me?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. I just want to say, number one, thank you for allowing me to be here. Number two, I just want to say this. You know, shout out to my bro, Boulevard. You know what I'm saying? I'm ashamed to plug my show, 7 with 8 Boys, every Sunday. Come rock with us at 10 o'clock. You know what I'm saying? Over on the Blanche Tier Network. We all family around here because we bleed that orange and blue. Now, this is my argument about RJ Barrett. And no, I am not the #1 cheerleader of his fan club. No, I'm not. I rock with RJ Barrett because he's a Knick. That's #1. 2, he been preaching to be a Knick since he was in college. That's 3. Most of all, you know what I'm saying? He's not been half the headache that Guns and Buns has been in the league. He takes his career seriously. And granted, he is not the most athletically gifted, beautiful thing that we've ever seen. You understand what I'm saying? He's a work in progress. He's a work in progress. And see, we're spoiled. We're spoiled as Knicks fans because we feel entitled to have what we want when we want it. And sometimes it takes work. You know, because we overstep or misstep for so many years. That's why we 51 years in the hole. You know what I'm saying? Granted, you know, we had poor front office, granted, we had poor coaching, granted, we had poor situations, or we haven't even had enough talent around our teams to even get us to the promised land. Now, I say this about RJ. RJ, I honestly believe in my eyes, my experience, because see, I listen to what y'all say. The advanced stats say this, and these stats say that. You know, stats are cool. You know what I'm saying? They're great pieces to measure, but stats are also to lie to you. I'm more of an eye talent. Let me look at you. Let me see what you're going to do when you step out there. You know, I coached football for years, and I wasn't standing there, you know what I'm saying, counting the stats when I'm watching my man Bruce Irvin do his thing when he was in high school. You know, I let him go. You know, it is God willing. Thank you, Jesus. You know what I'm saying? He cashed his lottery ticket in and he's able to take care of his family. I had another kid, you know what I'm saying, Derek Rogers, which I coached. Most natural wide receiver out there you could ever see in your life. I didn't need stats to tell me how good he was going to be. But if stats could regulate your mind, he would have flunked. You understand what I'm saying? He got himself kicked off the University of Tennessee's football team. He was an NFL draft pick, first rounder, blew it. Because you know why? Because his mind wasn't right. What I say like this is a privileged kid who's come from means, but he still treats his he treats his game like it's a work in progress. I promise you this, and this is just my opinion, you all, and I'm not right, and I don't mind being wrong. I keep a bottle of Texas Pete with me because I'll eat crow like it ain't nothing. You know what I'm saying? But the problem, you know what I'm saying, I guarantee that this will be the most efficient year he has. It'll be the best year he has. And for why? Because now he's not in the trade package. Why? Because now he honestly has a point guard that he's gelled with and worked with before. You know, it's not no major changes. You understand what I'm saying? I understand for you all in the panel, but you know, you all have valid reasons, you know what I'm saying? Valid reasons to feel the way you feel. You know what I'm saying? But I just don't agree with you all. You know what I'm saying? I just don't agree with you. I see something different in him. I see something totally different in him. You know,
Well,
is he a quiet boy? Yes.
let me ask you this.
Ask me any question.
A lot of what you talked about with RJ Barrett was the intangibles that we talked about earlier in the show. And I think everybody on the panel will agree about his mental toughness, about, you know, his work ethic, about him wanting to be on the Knicks. But I'm just keying in on his skill set. So
I understand.
all that other
I understand.
So my question to you is, what is it that you've seen in RJ's skill set, not the intangibles, in his skill set that makes you a believer in him? I mean, listen, he can take a next step. I mean, he can. I'm not saying he can't, but I'm just saying, what have you seen in his skill set, in his play, that makes you believe this is the year?
I mean, nothing. I mean, he doesn't blow anybody away with skill as far as skill set. You know,
But Corey,
he doesn't blow nobody away. He doesn't blow nobody away. He's not the leaper. I mean, I wish hard work would be considered as a skill set, because with hard work, because Jimmy Butler didn't get where he got without hard work. He may, you know what I'm saying, he may have had a higher vertical or better touch around the rim, but all that comes with time. You understand what I'm saying? And I can't pinpoint anything specific. You know, I'm not saying he has a great jump shot or his touch is great, but I do like how he goes to the basket. He has a pretty good first step, if you want to talk about skill set, which you can't take that away. You know, right. which accounts for something, and the fact that he, you know what I'm saying, you know, I don't know what it is, but a lot of players, especially when they come in the league, aren't the greatest free throw shooter. Now, if he was a 90% free throw shooter, we wouldn't be talking about half the shots that he took, because we know at least he goes to the line and it's money. We wouldn't be complaining about that. You know, my thing is like this. I leave the jury out for me.
Right, but Corey,
what do I disagree?
You said you disagree with us on the panel, but hold on.
I disagree. I disagree because this
set. But you saying that you don't see anything in his skill set, so then you kind of on the same page we're on.
No. This is because nothing stands. I mean, listen. I mean, nothing stands out. But how many? Tim Duncan, nothing about his skill set stood out when he got drafted, but he was still the #1 pick. He wasn't no amazing leaper. He wasn't an amazing leaper.
No, he wasn't.
Hold on a second. We talking about shooting.
I
His
just wanted to
IQ was good.
explain what skill set means,
I'm sorry, sir.
so that we on the same page.
Okay, man.
For me, skill set is not being able to run or jump. You have a specific skill that you employ in the game. That could be it could be a sky hook. It could be, you a good mid-range shooter. It could be you a good three-point shooter. It could be you're good off the dribble. It could be and here I'm talking offensive skill set. It could be any of those things. And I think that's where we may disagree. I don't see that skill set in RJ Barrett other than his ability to get to the rim. The finishing is an issue. So I just wanted to make sure we're on the same page. Go ahead.
Yeah. But also, like I was just making an argument about Tim Duncan. Nothing about him really stood out other than the fact that he was fundamentally sound. Can we honestly make that argument? It was nothing. It wasn't his jump shot. You know what I'm saying? It was the fact that he was a solid all-around player, and he happened to be the best player in that draft. You understand what I'm saying? So I'm just.
I don't know if we could say he didn't have a skill set. He might not have been flashy with it now, but I don't know if we could say he didn't have a skill set.
But neither. Sometimes it may take a while for somebody's skill set to really come out for you to be like, oh, I didn't know he really did that well. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying this, and this is my thing for the whole Knick Nation, is that I reserve judgment. I reserve my judgment until he's out the door. You know what I'm saying? And I'm still going to support number 9, just like I'm going to support number 11, number 30, number 21. You know what I'm saying? And anybody else, number 5, whoever comes along that wears that jersey. And I'm not going to tear them down because for so many years, I sat there and watched these players go out here and play and tore them down and then realized, watch them go off and do something else and go somewhere else. For an example,
RJ Barrett down by giving our honest opinion.
I'm not saying.
We just saying
no, not particularly today, but it's the tone. It's like for me, it's the tone. You know what I'm saying? It's like I guess, and maybe I'm assuming, and I don't mind being wrong, and I apologize if I am. That maybe that he has never met our expectations, and maybe that's what you all are seeing because he was so highly drafted, and maybe highly touted when coming into college, and maybe he wasn't ready. You know what I'm saying? But these cats got to go. These kids got to go. When the money come and calling, you got to go get it. You talking about generational, life-changing money. You know, and just like Kevin Knox, he should have sat his butt in Kentucky for at least 2 more years, but he didn't. Why? He had a great freshman year. He jumped out there. He didn't have the mindset. You understand what I'm saying? No, so we had to move on from him. I mean, it comes and goes. I see this young man as a potential, not potential superstar, but a potential great player in New York, and he's gonna be a part of us winning a championship, and that's the most important thing I see. You know, and I think he's gonna be around.
Do you think the longer a player is in the league, though? Well, okay, I gotta let you go because we got more. But I'll ask it. I'll ask it for everybody in the chat because we got people waiting. I appreciate you coming on, Corey Lee. Like I said, I hear.
No doubt. Hey,
it's good to have you guys come on so that I can just understand in more than the 200 letters you get in the chat. Understand where you're coming from. I appreciate.
Yeah, no doubt, and I appreciate you all. And Boogie, you know, you can always pull up every Sunday. I know you be tired of doing what you got to do, but as well as anybody, you know what I'm saying. Our doors always open, you know, and we love to laugh and joke and we're silly, but we are serious about what we do. Absolutely. Over there, and I appreciate this opportunity. You know what I'm saying. Very big fan of yours. You know what I'm saying, as well as the chat. You know what I'm saying? Stafford Don, we already talked over text for a little while, you know what I'm saying, back, but I appreciate it. But I love to agree to disagree. And I can't wait to hear you say, you know what? Queen, I can't wait to hear you say, well, you know what? I was wrong.
Listen, I'm not saying what RJ Barrett can't ever be. I'm not saying RJ
I've
Barrett
never said that. No,
he's
but I'm
not
saying
gonna pop. All I'm saying is I'm not putting my money on it from what I've seen so far. That's all.
you ain't got to. You ain't got the Knicks Knicks paying that check. We just fans. We watching.
Yeah, okay. Okay. All right.
We
Hey,
fans.
Corey.
And as long
Hey,
as you
Corey.
know, as long as your subscription is paid for.
Hey, Corey.
What's up, bro?
It's two things that we all want to say. Corey Lee, you was right, and we was wrong.
That's it.
We want to say that. We're
Yeah.
not against RJ.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. But we gotta go.
No, I know that. I know that.
I appreciate you.
Thanks for calling.
All right.
Thanks for
Let's
calling.
let's bring in Quiet Money. Salute, my brother. How you
Ah,
doing?
salute,
Money.
salute to the panel. Salute, J Boogie,
Salute.
RJ.
I see you, Dre.
man?
We got you.
What's good? Salute, man. So,
What's your
thanks
take?
for having me on, Queen.
Of course.
You know,
Listen.
I always got something to say about your boy. I always got something to say. I've been trying to. I mean, I understand. We fans. We diehard fans. We want to win. I understand that. You know what I'm saying? We go off the precedent of the draft, building through the draft, the old fashioned way. I get it. I understand. But every pick ain't a hit. It's a pick. It don't mean it's gonna hit. We have number one picks that did not hit that were bust. Now, to say RJ is a bust is kind of steep, but as far as expectations, moving the needle, being a pillar, you know what I'm saying, something that we can build off of, he's kind of busty to me. You know what I mean? He's kind of busty to me. But like, let's get into context, right? I just don't want to just badger him and just say, "Oh, he a bust, he's not good," whatever. Let's get into context, right? So, as an NBA player coming in at a high pick, at a high lottery pick, top 5, I'm expecting you to go through your growing pains, but I'm also expecting you to grow. Like, I have not seen any growth past year 2. If I'm wrong, then please, somebody in the panel, tell me, enlighten me, because I have not seen no growth. I have not seen nothing that he added to his game. He still can't shoot consistently. He still can't finish. He still can't pass. He does nothing at a high level. Nothing. And I think in the NBA, you got to do something at a high level. You got to do something good. Not a high level, something good. Like on our team, right? Our main rotational players. I can name something that every player that gets rotational minutes do good, except RJ. I got a problem with that. I have a problem with that. Why is that? I mean, you want to talk any player? You can name any player right now. The panel, y'all can name any player y'all want me to break down and critique, and I could tell you what he actually does above average or good, or really good. Any player, pick one, any one, and I got a problem with that, right? So like, even with that being said, right? If it wasn't so many fans that are like, it seems like they're so hopeful, like they're like, oh, those give him time, he can develop. I'm like, nah, it's certain attributes that he just don't have. It's certain agility that he doesn't have. It's certain timing that he just don't have. It's gifts that you have to have it already. You don't learn all that stuff. Some things you're born with, you're blessed with. That's why NBA players are NBA players. Like, one thing that he was born with was the height. He has an NBA body. He does. The size, he has an NBA body. But outside of that,
Quiet Money.
What's up?
Someone in the chat say moving the needle and got dog in him is two completely idiotic terms. What would you say to that?
No. First of all, moving the needle is somebody like a Ja Morant or somebody that can affect the team, like really affect the team positively. I mean, to wins. Like, when has RJ won us games? What games have RJ actually won us? You could say, well, if it wasn't for RJ, we probably wouldn't have won that game. I haven't seen many games like that. Even when he's hitting his shots, it's not like that. It's not at that level.
Right.
And that's what I'm saying.
So you're saying that, and I get it, that you haven't seen it thus far, neither have I. But you're also saying is that you don't expect to see it, and why is that? Because he's been in the league for 4 years already. Because you haven't seen a upward trajectory. Why do you feel?
But I've been watching ball, right? I'm like everybody, right? I'm a little older than I look, right? I'm back from like the Raj Strickland days, like you, Jay Boogie. You know what I'm saying? I seen the ballers, and then I got friends that actually became NBA players. So I know the talent. I know it when I see it. I know it when I see it. I just know it. You know what I mean? And I don't see it. It's just like, remember Frank Ntilikina? I remember, I will never forget this. And I'm glad I'm on the show now. I could say this to the fan base. I'll never forget this day. I called in the Knick Fan TV, right? And they was talking about Frank Ntilikina. And I said, yo, CP, yo, I don't think he's a real NBA type player. I think he's more of a FIBA basketball player. He can play the game of basketball, but he's not an NBA caliber player where he can get better. And it's just those things that a real NBA player can do. Like, he can always probably get a job because he is 6'5", almost 6'6". So you can get on the team, but he's not that type of player. But I said, oh no, Frank is young, and this was back then. Like when we couple years, 2 years after we drafted Frank, he's like, no, he's young. You got to give him time. I said, give him time for what? I'm like, yo, he barely can dribble, and he's playing the point guard position. How you gonna play point guard and you can't dribble? I didn't. So they argued me down. Everybody, oh, you just hating on Frank. I'm like, I don't see it. He don't have it.
Right.
How did Frank develop, Queen?
Listen, I couldn't understand it. I couldn't understand it back then. And this was before I even got on YouTube. I couldn't even find a decent podcast because everybody was talking about Frank Ntilikina. I was like, I don't get it.
And just a side note, he's signed to the Charlotte Hornets.
Yeah. And what are you gonna do, Stopper?
That's not the real Frank.
Absolutely nothing.
That's not the real Frank, man. The Frank that we drafted, he just filled out an application at the precinct.
Quite money. I appreciate you. I got Dre in the background.
Queen,
ready to come
I appreciate you having me on. Salute to the panel again. I appreciate
you. Salute Quiet Money. Salute.
Thanks for calling Quiet Money. Thanks for calling.
Salute,
man. Good seeing you, man.
Salute.
Ooh, this is good. I'm feeling this. Dre, before you leave in the private chat, you got to give me your email address again. Because I tried to email you. I emailed somebody about the RJ Barrett podcast. I don't know who it was, but I emailed somebody about it.
Dre, you're on mute, bro.
You're muted.
You're muted, boss. So salute, Jarrell. Salute Steph for having me on your platform. Salute y'all. Salute Stafford. Salute RJ. Salute Jay Boogie. Salute to the chat.
What up, Dre? What up?
I'll start off. I've already given up. I've already sold my RJ Barrett stock as far as being an all-star. I would settle if he gave me Tobias Harris type of numbers, bro. Wow. I would settle for that type of impact. And to be absolutely honest, when we're looking at the pay scale and how dudes are getting $60 million maxes, him making 25, if he can just give me solid role player statistics, that's all I can live for. Because we already got 2 all-stars at this point.
Right.
All we have to do is get consistency from him. Now that's the hugest thing. That is the thing we've been begging for the last 4 or 5 years. But this is one of those things.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
I'm saying like this is one of those things where he's in the crossroads of his career where he'll either be off this team after next year or he'll be a Knick for like 11 years or something silly. Like there is no in between. He's not coming off the Knicks in year 7 or 8. He's going to be here for 11, 12 years if he figures it out. But if he doesn't, he's out of here. Because we got these guys on these contracts that are ridiculously like valued. So we can't waste time. But your question was what is it that I want out of RJ? I
Yeah,
believe
because you said you don't really see him as a star. We have two all stars. We just need like solid role players. From what you've seen, what would be the best RJ?
the best RJ would be him slowing down and realizing he's not that guy.
Mm,
I don't want to say he has to be this type of player, but if he were to be more of a conduit type player like a Kyle Anderson, do those types of things, slow down, take the simple shot, make the simple read, make the lives easier for Randall, make lives easier for Brunson, make the lives easier for guys like Quinn Grimes, pick up his defensive intensity. Sometimes it looks like he's standing flat footed, but we all know his, I guess, lack of explosiveness and athleticism. It's one of those things where less is more, but at the same time, you want more because we've seen so much less in the entire time he's been here. It's like his whole process, and we've seen glimpses of it, like his process in terms of the playoffs where he slowed down and just made the simple play. And granted, when you have two guys that are getting double teamed all the time, all you need to do is make the simple play.
right.
That's all we need. Dribble, drive, pack, kick out. If you don't have it, kick it out. I mean, even we've seen Tom Thibodeau say that explicitly after games. Just make the simple play. But it feels like he's trying to live up to this thought in his mind of what he was coming out of high school, what he was in college. He needs to have an ego check, and he needs to have a realization like, bro, we got two guys that are going to be two all NBA type guys. You need to relax, tone it down. It's okay to be the 17-point per game guy. It's okay to be the 16-point per game guy. It's okay to just take 12 to 13 shots.
Well, if he take 12 to 13 shots with his efficiency, he's gonna average 8 points a game. But
But like part of the reason his shots are so high is because he's missing so many extra shots because he's forcing it.
right,
Instead of making the simpler shot and taking the easier shot,
that's
his efficiency would go up
right.
in token, but I feel like he's just doing too much. And I feel like he's trying to live up to this idea that he has in himself. And I'm not gonna compare him to Andrew Wiggins, but Andrew Wiggins had to take a step back with better players ahead of him to figure out where he is in the league and to figure out his role and his niche. That's what he has to do. It's a big ask for him to be this elite defensive player. He has the measurables like Wiggins. Wiggins has the measurables, but it's one thing to just buy in and take a step back and realize who you are, where you are, what you are. And if you don't realize those things, you're gonna be up out of New York and up on like the Charlotte Hornets or something in 2 years.
Right.
And everybody will forget about you.
Do you think how he played in the playoffs in terms of his floor game? I mean, he was still a negative something in the playoffs, plus in terms of plus minus. But in terms of his floor game, is that kind of what you're looking to see? How he was moving the ball and making the right pass, things like that?
Simplify. Just simplify his game.
Right.
I don't need to see him to do step back mid-range jumpers. We already saw the first 4 years. That don't work. It never improved. I see him doing the workouts. I'm not impressed. I've seen enough. I just want he has the only innate skill that he has is the ability to get to the paint. And he never leverages it correctly until the playoffs, but for 8 out of 11 games or whatever it was.
Right.
He needs to hone in on just that. Realize you're really a 1 or 2 trick pony. You're not the jack of all trades that we drafted him to be.
Right.
Just stick to what works for you, and that'll work for the team. We know how to highlight or utilize him driving to the rim. We have Mitch coming off of getting boxed out by 3 people to get his offensive rebounds. We have guys like Randall and Brunson, and to be absolutely honest, Brunson is our best catch and shoot guy. If RJ figured out just to simplify his game, get into the paint, get 2 feet into the paint, kick it out, get the hockey assist,
Right.
we could thrive in that way offensively.
Right.
Especially with how Brunson is just that great off the catch and shoot, which we never utilize, not nearly as much as we should.
We don't. Good point, Dre. I appreciate you. Can you put your email?
I put it in the chat.
You put it in the chat or in the private chat?
The private chat. I'm dropping it in the private chat.
Yeah, because you gave it to me. I don't know what I did with it.
Yeah, you got it right here. But I appreciate you having me on your platform.
Yeah, that was
Salute to
it.
everybody.
Great
I
point
emailed
coming
you.
on, man.
You
Salute
sure?
to you, Dre.
Yeah, I
Salute to
emailed
you,
you a
Dre.
few
Salute,
days
Staffer.
ago about the
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I responded to you asking
You
for the
did?
link.
Oh
Yeah,
God.
today.
Oh, today. I was 2 days ago. All right.
It's
Anyway,
all good. It's all good.
I
Y'all have a good
appreciate you.
night.
All right,
You
you
too,
too.
man. You too.
Salute, Jay, salute.
And Queen, I want you
Yes.
to explain to the chat that when they come on, they don't have to do video. They could do audio also too,
Yes, when you come, yes,
right?
thank you, Staffer. If you don't feel comfortable coming on or with your face, you could just come on just audio like Staffer. And actually, if your internet is not good, that's probably the best way to come on.
Yeah, because the only reason why I said I want to do an extensive invitation to Nick's 100 GM. He's a lot to say about RJ. He sounds like a real RJ supporter, and the coolest 718. Those
Yes,
two
come
guys,
on.
they have a lot to say in the chat. So I would really like to send an invitation to hear their point of view of RJ.
Yeah, and then also Sherwin said something. Staff, I said if RJ can shoot 50% from the field, that's about 4 more points a game. But I'm not really interested in the points per game. Like
Right.
if you look at his counting stats, 20 points per game, 5 rebounds a game, 3 assists, that's not bad. But when you watch the games, you can really see it. Let's bring Ron on. Salute, Ron. How are you?
Ron.
I'm good. I'm good. Thank you, Steph. I appreciate that because I don't feel
Of course.
comfortable showing my face. You know how it is. What up, y'all? Yeah, I got bad lighting and everything. Anyway, I'm in the kitchen. I was just cooking some stuff. So anyway, let me go back to this.
Salute
All
to
right,
you,
there
Ron.
we go.
Salute.
More fire, rhythm beats, brother. Anyway, I just want to say I've already put it in the chat. I've said it multiple times. You know, the whole make or break thing for RJ, and there's a lot of different things that I think RJ Barrett needs to improve on because we all seen it. And I do appreciate Quiet Money for saying that we haven't seen anything good from RJ as far as his whole game and skill set since year 2, which I think most Knick fans can agree. Year 2 was the best RJ we've seen so far.
Yep.
However, that being said, I do think, and let me shout out everybody into it: Jarrell, Steph, Jeff, Jay Boogie, Aj, Staffadon. You guys know I'm with you. I agree with how you feel about and call it for what RJ is. However, for whatever reason, I think because his back is against the wall, he sees what's happening on his Knicks team. I think this is going to be the best year that we've seen from RJ Barrett. I think he just has no choice. Like if he don't give his all right now, honestly, what is going to happen to his value? What's going to happen to his prospects of staying a Knick long term? All of that's out the window. First off, the Knicks are going to try to get him on the first plane smoking, but it's also going to decrease his value if he has another bad year like he had last year. Like he's already not making lists. He's already being called overrated. I don't know how he's overrated when he's not even rated, but whatever. He's already got all of that going on against him. So he can't afford to have another bad year. That's why I think there's no choice for him to. He's got to have a good year. And it's not hard for him to do. He just has to take smarter basketball shots, be a little bit more efficient, think a little bit more about what he's actually trying to accomplish out there on the basketball court, and believe in his teammates. Believing in his teammates will get him a long way. If you guys remember, throughout this year, one of the biggest things that I was mad about with RJ Barrett is he started chucking and stopped passing the ball to his teammates. Now, I'm not saying he never chucked before, but I've never seen it like this. This year, he was going for self. I mean, it got so bad, we saw what happened with him and Obi. Obi had to tell him something in the game.
Right.
It just, I don't know, and I don't want to knock just RJ about that because you guys know I also feel like Tibbs has a little something to do with this because he allows it to happen. Players can't do it if Tibbs don't allow it.
Easy run. Don't say nothing about Tibbs because
No, I know. It's still about RJ. Hold on, let's get back to RJ. Anyway, so Barrett, I'm just saying, I think he can definitely do some things. I see there's been a lot of talk on Twitter. You know, I see Drew Hanlon actually did an interview with Big Nick Energy. Shout out to them. I didn't get a chance to see it because it aired at 7 in the morning, but I will check it out after this. Actually, I don't know what he's going to tell me. I think he's really a big proponent for RJ in his game because he's working with him. All I need RJ to do is go out there, get to the basket, work on his layups, work on the mid range, pass the ball, believe in his teammates, and shoot his free throws. And you know what? Play some defense. It doesn't have to be great, but just
That's a long.
do the effort.
That's a long. All I need you. I'm not hungry. Give me 2 half chickens. The pork fried rice and 16 egg rolls. He's like, all I need him to do is keep a laundry list of stuff.
I mean, for an NBA player going on his what, 5th year? Is this his 5th year?
Yeah.
He should be able to do everything I asked for. This should not be an issue for him. So that's the defense. Look, if this is the funny thing about this game. If RJ Barrett just shows the type of effort that Jalen Brunson does on defense, RJ will be a better defender. I'm not saying Jalen Brunson is a good defender, but he shows the effort. Right. So if RJ puts that effort in, he'll be a much better defender.
Right. No doubt about it. I was hoping he would slim down a little bit, but I saw some pictures of him. I said, okay, that's not going to happen.
Nope.
Which makes me wonder, is it because of RJ's body type and as he's getting older, it's just easier for him to put on the muscle? Or is RJ making a concerted effort? Like, yeah, I hear everybody saying I'm slow and I'm going the other way. All right, I'm going to do what I do. I'm bully ball. I don't know. We don't know what RJ's thinking or what Drew Hanlon's training him.
Power forward position, not some minutes anyway.
That is true. He could be one of those small power forwards. But you know what the problem with that is? Those guys that are small, that have played the power forward position, a la the Charles Barkleys of the world and stuff, they were aggressive and they were good rebounders.
Right. Yeah.
Right.
You don't think 5 rebounds a game is good for his position? You think it should be more?
No, I give him credit for that because what a lot of Knicks fans I think don't see is how good of or good of a rebounding team we are.
Right.
Quickly can rebound. Yeah. Hart can rebound. Right. RJ can rebound. And now we added DiVincenzo. It's going to be hard to get rebounds for RJ.
Yeah.
So anyway, I didn't want to take up too much of your time. I've been dying to jump on for the past couple of weeks. Y'all been having a full house up here. I ain't trying to break Queen's. I know she likes her 6 checkup tiles over there. I ain't trying to mess up her flow.
Nah,
hey.
It's okay. I got my newsletter now, so I don't need to talk as much. So you could come on.
We got room for 9.
Right.
Okay, I'll keep that in mind next time. Yeah. But hey, man, I'm enjoying the show as always, Steph, and it's always good to hear you guys, man. You guys, nice little mix you got up here. I like this. Keep it going.
Yeah, appreciate you. All right.
Salute,
all right,
Ron.
later.
Salute.
Right. Let me get this. Listen to it. Oh, hold up. Wait a minute.
Hold on, real quick. Steph, I gotta roll out.
Yes.
Salute to everybody.
Salute to everybody. Jarrell, salute, man.
Salute to QM. Salute to Dre. Salute to Corey Lee. Ron turned the stove off and gave us some bars. So I'll see y'all on Thursday, man. Salute.
Yes,
all right, bet that up, man. Be safe.
All right, Jarrell.
Yeah. We got a few more minutes too. It's already 10. We started a little late, so we're trying to keep it to an hour and a half. Let me add in Wiz. Appreciate you. Put you in the
Wiz.
Can you hear us, Wiz? Wiz, he going through White
There
Castle.
you go. He should be all right now. There you go.
Sorry, folks. Hey, Queen.
How are you?
I'm great. Thanks for letting me on. I'm glad I followed Ron because I know I look better than he does. That's why I turned the camera on. No, I'm not keep it off, but I said, I look better than Ron. I don't want to follow Dre though. He's too young. Young bucks. Still, throwing his makeup and stuff. What's up, Pato?
What's up, Wiz? You have to, and I'm gonna tell you something. The other panel members may not know what I'm talking about, but you will know. You have to sing at least one verse tonight.
Oh man,
All right.
If Ron did a dance move, I would sing a verse. But I'm still may do it though. You know, I got Dave Book in the house, the man with the voice, with the rapping and the singing. You know.
What's good, Liz?
What's up, peace, everybody on the panel.
Peace.
Queen, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
Oh.
What's your thoughts on RJ Barrett?
So
and has it changed over the years? So
I don't know if everyone knows my initial thoughts was at that third pick, I was yelling, trade the pick. He's not worth the third pick. Please trade back. I was yelling and screaming. I did not want to draft RJ Barrett. And my opinion has changed. Yes, it has changed. I'm sorry. It has changed. We should have not even looked at him. It's worse now. I'm sorry. But no, I'm sorry. He's got this chance. I see potential. I don't see skills. I don't see athleticism. I see a NBA level IQ, but not. He doesn't apply it enough. I think he has it, but he doesn't apply it because I think he's one-dimensional. Actually, a key thing happened this past week. I think IQ was asked about what he expects for the season, and his comment was directly team-related about team winning. Every year, Archie's been asked about next coming season goals. I want to average 19. I want to average 20. It's always individual record related. And that's why I think he pushes for those points and misses those baskets because he's looking for his individual numbers rather than the team numbers. And that's part of RJ's problem. If he focused purely on team and like everyone said, step back a little bit, recognize he's not the man. Yeah. And yes, it's probably difficult because he's young and he was always told he was the man for all the years he's gone through high school and college. And even his first couple years in the Knicks. Up to even last year, Knicks fans were saying, you know, where the golden child or all the nominations they gave him. I mean, he was not the man, and he needs to accept it. But I don't think this year, when I think Ron and Dre says the pressure's on, most people really don't perform well on the pressure. I could go down the list of Cam and all those guys who knew this is their last chance to really make it. RJ's problem now is he got paid, and the pressure is on. So it's extra pressure. And then you bring in guys like DiVincenzo and Josh right there on his tail and Grimes trying to take the next step. I think RJ may feel a lot of pressure, and he performs well in the instant moment for pressure, like a last-second shot to win a game. But throughout the course of the game and season, I think it affects him, and he's not living up to his potential. But I never thought his potential was that high. The problem is he has a very high floor, a very low ceiling, and perhaps the mentality not to take advantage of steady improvement and not try to be a Ja or a Zion or something he's trying to live up to. So unfortunately, my opinion of RJ is let's try to find the best opportunity to move on from him. He'll be a solid player in the NBA, but I think he's ideal for being a role player off the bench, 6 or 7 man, Josh Hart-like.
Right. Yeah. Appreciate you, Wiz.
Oh no, man, Queen. You know, I've been missing out on coming on in the past. I've been just watching from afar, but I'm telling you, your shows are fire. You got some brainiacs around you. You know, you're still the smartest of the group. You're still the Queen is always.
Hey. Watch yourself, in always. Watch yourself.
From I was like number 40 subscriber, I always put in the chat, the Queen is always right. And even when she's wrong, she's logically correct.
She's always right.
Exactly. But I want to say hail to the Queen. All of you, Steffa. You know, the yard man, you know,
Wiz, did you see the game this morning, man? Disappointing game, man.
Oh, man. I can't believe it. My regular girls, they represented though. They won one.
Yeah, they out. Yeah, they out.
But I feel it, man. I feel it hurt me. Because I was ready to put the colors on and try to bring bring my dreadlocks back. I had long locks for a while. Queen, I was looking almost as good as you, man. I used to look almost as good as you. But so sad, so sad. But again, man, I wish RJ the best. I want to be pleasantly surprised. I'd be happy to be wrong, but I really don't see that I'm gonna be wrong. And man, my boy chilling right above me there. That I mean, yo, your takes are awesome. I can't say the same for Stefan's takes all the time. Lots of them.
See, you want to take shots, right? All right.
Nah, you're great,
All right.
man.
We
But hell,
appreciate you,
everybody.
Wiz.
Thanks, I'm out to you, man. Peace,
All
everybody.
right, cool.
I want to shout out to Paris Duggar. Tibbs is the orchestrator of the RJ Randall scandal. I'm not sure
Whatever.
what that is, but I want to say, Saul Hashem, you are welcome to come onto the panel and give your opinion about RJ Barrett. I'm surprised for the little support for a 20-point scorer on a 47-win team that is 23. Queen's crew throwing shade and hate. Now, I'm not sure when you came in, Saul, but on this channel, everybody had an opportunity to talk about what they thought about RJ Barrett. So you would have been able, had you come in early enough, you would have seen why. I don't know what you mean by support. I think we want him to do well, but it's not about the points. Everybody keeps focusing on the points. He takes 16 shots a game. If you give anybody enough shots, they're going to score 20 points. So can we stop focusing on the points, please? But if you want to come on, Saul, and you want to give your thoughts,
we'd love to hear.
People want to push back on us, but come in and give your thoughts on RJ Barrett so that we can understand your point of view. Ajay?
No, I was gonna say, Hashim, call in. We want to hear from you. And JJ said something like we can all see. JJ said 20 points per game isn't what it used to be, but that's not the point I want to make. He said, if you do it with bad efficiency, I mean, it's not a good 20 points a game. If like you said, Queen, if you take 25 shots to score 20 points a game, you might as well not be in the game because you can't win that way. If everybody on the team was shooting with RJ Barrett efficiency, we would never make the playoffs.
Right. So, right. Most High with Mansa Dushan. The link is at the top of the panel. Let me put the actual number out as well. If you want to call into the show, you can call into the show as well, and give your opinion. If you want to hop onto the panel, you can have your camera off. If you don't want to, if you don't feel comfortable, on camera, but call into the show. Yeah, if you're camera shy. I want to hear. This is the chat show. We talk all the time. So Parrish Duggar, call in. Nick Yak, call in. Nick's 100 a GM, call in if you want. And the person we was just talking about, I lost him here.
Saul Hassan.
Call into the show. Call in the show. We would love to hear from you. But you got about 5 minutes as we getting out of here. We ain't
Queen, we didn't hear from we didn't hear from Jeff. We didn't hear from Jeff. How is
Jeff.
RJ take?
Yes, he did.
We did.
He did. My takes. You must have been asleep at that time, Sam. You take a nap? You busy with your bag of chips, I guess.
More positive. Yeah.
Oh yeah. That's right.
Yeah, but Queen, like, why why does it have to be quote unquote hate? It's not hate. Listen, RJ is a Knick. We love that he's a Knick, and we love that we want him to be better. We want him to help the team win. It is nothing hateful about RJ Barrett. We just, earlier in the show, I said he's one of my favorite players. Like year 1, year 2 RJ, I was like, oh my God, we got a good one. But I am extremely disappointed in RJ Barrett. So that's far from hate. That's far from hating RJ Barrett.
I mean, it's just point blank. He's just not it.
Yeah.
You
look
know.
at the gauge. You look at the numbers.
Or I seen somebody put in the chat. It may be just his and Tibbs' style is not the same thing. Maybe he could flourish in a different offense. You never know.
You got to
You
have a
know,
skill set to
I'm just putting that out there
flourish
too.
in an offense, though. I think that's the part to me that's been missing with RJ Barrett. What does he do well? JM 3000, no pom poms, please. I mean, I think this is just general in terms of when people, you know, click into a show. We try to be real and honest about how we feel. We're honest, just like, I mean, excuse me, we're fans just like you guys.
Straight
Like
shooters.
I just decided that I was going to start a channel, but I'm not a professional. You know, I'm a fan. Everybody on this panel is a fan. Everybody in the chat are fans. I started in the chat, you know, as well on NBK. Shout out to Simeon, you know, Simeon Russell. We just fans, but we giving our opinion. And I think what's happening, I don't know if this is true, but I wonder if the channels that bring it down a little bit and are not as hard hitting are the channels that have more subscribers, because Knick fans really do. And I get that. Like, you really do want to click on and just hear somebody talk really, really good about your team and be positive, and how, you know, Mitch is going to have a hook shot, and how RJ Barrett is going to be efficient, and how, you know, Quickly and Grimes is taking it, you know, to the next level. I get that you want to feel good. But that's just not what we do here. Because when I turn to a channel and somebody is talking like that, I keep it moving. That's me personally. I keep it moving because what? So you trying to tell me? You know, I need to hear both sides. Try to convince me of something. Don't be soft about it. Don't dumb it down for me. I need to hear first, you know, both sides. Grimes is about to be an all-star. Okay. And I'm waiting for the reasons, you know, why you backing it up. And people want to talk about how he played in the whatever that all-star competition. I'm like, oh no, I need a little more thought than that. Right. But everybody is different. So no disrespect. We not hating. We just really strong with our opinions, and we just trying to keep it real and keep it honest. Go ahead. Somebody want to say something?
I was gonna say shout out to Knicks 100 GM, who I guess in his or her attempt to make it a point that RJ is not bad, he said Quickly had 0 point and 0 assist in the game. So just to show that RJ's he's not the worst thing that could happen.
Right.
In one game. I mean, it's like, listen, we have to be honest with ourselves, all right? As fans, we have to be honest. That's whatever. Quickly is a better player than RJ right now. At this point in his career, Quickly is more valuable to a team than RJ Barrett.
Yeah.
So if you want to compare the two.
Yeah. Shout out to Paris Duggar. RJ regressed when he started competing with Randall. Listen. Yeah. Paris, we talking about art. Yeah, okay. All right, Paris. I hear you.
You know, kind of way I feel bad about the guy, because, you know, he got his contract on potential or what he could become. So if that doesn't work, what's his next contract going to be about? Especially with this collective bargaining changing, and they say the rich ones get the rich ones, and you know what I'm saying? The other ones, they get the bottom ones. So, you know, what are you going to do that's going to make sure you get another contract that's deserving for you when they gave you this one just on your potential? Right. And I don't just talk about, you know, his buckets and all that. That's why, you know, I talked about other things. And another thing I'm going to throw out, if I'm not mistaken, this is RJ's team. And what I mean by his team, I'm not talking about far as the best player, but how come you wasn't given the captain job? You know what I'm saying? What I want to know. He's been here longer than anybody. He's the longest running guy on this team. He was drafted in here before Julius. Nobody's been on this team longer than RJ. So with that,
I think Mitch been with him the same amount of years too.
say what?
I think Mitch.
I'm gonna say it again. He's been here the longest. He was drafted before Mitch. So
No, they was drafted in the same year. They was drafted in the same
third.
year.
He was
not
number
listening,
3.
man. He's
All right,
drafted.
go ahead.
He was
Sorry, go
drafted
ahead.
third, and
Continue.
Mitch was drafted in. We talking like the twins, like who came out first, seconds apart.
Okay.
Right.
Yeah, okay, but this is his team. They draft him because we had nobody here for him to be the leader. So with you to be the leader, where's your leadership skills? When do you talk to the players? When do you rally the players? When you bigging up the huddles? When are we down and you leading the rah-rah, getting people up? Those are leadership skills. It has nothing to do with basketball. You get the bucket. And this is some of the other things that he does not have. And that's some of the things that we was drafting him for. He showed good leadership skills, that Duke. He would take the ball and handle the rock, and put people into places and stuff. Not saying that I want you to do that because I know you're not an NBA point guard. But far as leadership he should have been a captain for this team. What did they see in him? What did they not see in him to not make him the captain? You know what I mean? Being that he was here, it's just, I wish and want the best for the guy, but I have to. You still have to show it to me at the same time. But 4 years is too long, and you're just doing constantly the same thing. My homeboy here, PJ, he's 6'4.5", no hops, no handles. How did he stay in the league? Hard work and effort. And if you sitting there knowing we need a 3-and-D and the team keep talking about they need to find one, they haven't found one, why haven't you gone all out for that? It's okay to be a 3-and-D guy. Stopping somebody. Go all out on defense. He needs to figure out how he's going to get his next check because they gave him this one. They gave you free 4 years on your potential. I don't know what your potential is. I don't know. But I know whatever's after the potential we don't see, you need to find it if you're going to get some more money.
Right. Let's bring on Eddie C. How are you, Eddie C? Before we get out of here.
Evening, Eddie.
It's been a hot minute.
What's good, E? Yeah, it's been a hot minute for real.
What up, E?
Oh, you're not on? Oh.
Talk to E.
And let's get those likes up by the time we wait for Eddie C. We got 76 likes. We got 129 people in here. Let's get them up before we roll out, people.
Yeah, let's get that to 100.
Yeah, definitely. All right, let me check in with the chat.
Just jokingly, RJ ain't bringing the likes in.
Mitch was drafted with Kevin Knox. Okay. RJ not a natural shooter, can't be a 3-and-D guy. I think that would be, Ashley A1, I really hope that RJ makes the improvements we need so that we can get to the Eastern Conference. No doubt about it. I mean, if he was able to turn it up, that definitely improves our ceiling. Shout out to Canal Band Lawyer. I appreciate you. But OG is better OG is better. I sat here. Listen, let me pen my newsletter again. And I went through, the stats. First of all, OG was all defensive, all NBA defensive team. When you look at the efficiency, if you look at this, if you look at whatever you want to look at, and you look at them by position, he ranks out better than RJ Barrett. So it's not about just logic. It's about watching their games and then looking at the stats to back it up. All right, let me see. And then we can get out of here. Vince Jackson, can y'all redo the 2019 draft and tell me where RJ would be drafted? Oh, Eddie C said he's coming back. Let's see. Are you there, Eddie?
Yep. Can you hear me now?
We can hear you.
Yep.
What's up, Eddie?
Sorry, take two, I guess. It looks like I had some
Take us out
technical
here.
difficulties
What's
here, man. But
what's up,
salute
E?
to everybody. Love you, man. What's up, Book, man? It's been a minute,
Salute,
man.
salute, salute, Eddie.
Stephanie,
Salute.
Appreciate you.
Stephadon, IG, my boy up there.
What's going
How's
on, man?
everybody doing?
We
I
good.
just
Good.
came in for a second just to say hello. It's been a while since I come on and
Absolutely.
spoke Knicks for a minute. So I just just wanted to say hi to everybody and I guess give my 2 cents before we leave.
Okay.
So I guess we were talking about RJ Barrett, Emmanuel quickly. Is that the conversation?
No, just RJ Barrett. This is the call-in show on RJ Barrett. Just
Okay.
what you think his ceiling is. Do you think
Mhm.
he's who he's going to be right now? And
Mhm.
what is it that you've seen thus far? If you do think he has a higher ceiling, what is it that you've seen thus far that makes you believe that?
I was listening to a little bit about what Jay Boogie was saying, a little bit too about what you were talking about, and the pattern that I see with RJ is the same pattern that I see when he starts a season. Notoriously slow to start a season, and then during the season he starts to get a little bit better. He starts doing more things that we're looking for him. Last year, he did some things in the playoffs. He had a better playoff than Emmanuel quickly had. So that's the pattern that I see coming out of him. Like, and obviously, I know it's been 4 years, but if it takes him half a season to get into his rhythm, how long is it going to take for him to get into his NBA rhythm? If you understand what I'm saying. But I think he's on the brink of it. Actually, I
Oh,
think
wow.
within the next, hopefully this year and the next year, when he's really physically mature at the age of 23, 24, 25 a 25-year-old RJ Barrett, I think is going to be a scary thing. He already has man strength at 22 years old. I can imagine him, you know, being a Julius Randle at 28, where he's tough to guard. Like, we just watch it through the NBA TV, but you really have to be out there to see how really strong Julius Randle is in an NBA format. So I think he's going
That's
along
going to
that
be
line
his 7th year in the league, though. Is
when
that
he's
when you think he's going to
25.
break out? Yeah, he's 23 now,
Mhm.
entering his 5th.
I would hope that he would do it before.
Okay.
I would hope that he would do it before. I'm speaking probably like next year. Julius Randle now is when he's really breaking out, and I have a hunch that he's going to have the best year of his career. And he said it, but I was thinking that even before he was talking like this, like when Obi Toppin got traded, the best sector of his year last year was when Obi was hurt for like 2 weeks. Like, he was like dominant. He was like one of the top 3, 4, 5 guys in the league. And not having him there, I think, is going to spark something, you know. But going back to RJ, yeah, I really do think that once he physically matures into his body, he's going to be a problem. And not too many people, the Tyler Heroes of the world that think that they're better than RJ Barrett, the Darius Garlands of the world that think that they're not going to be able to handle him um, in an NBA
But
format. I
what
don't.
is it that you've seen so far that makes you believe that? Is it just his body type?
No, it's his mentality. Is it's no quit mentality, because this is a young kid who's 22, 23 years old, and he's been ished on his 4 years in the league, and he's still coming out every game, and still every season he's pretty durable. He comes out and he just tries his best, and once he gets strong enough to say, listen, ain't nobody going to be able to stop me,
You
it's
don't
going to
think he's
click for him.
strong now?
Yeah, but he's only 22, 23. Like, 22-year-old strong is not the same as a 25, 26-year-old man who's physically already in his prime and stuff. So I think there's a difference. I think there's a big difference.
Okay. 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 All right. I will just say this, Eddie C. You and Corey Lee, when we put the feet to the fire, you guys come with the intangible stuff. And I'm looking for like basketball stuff. But I hear you. You just feel like because of his mentality, that's going to help him stay in there. That's going to help him not give up until he eventually takes it to the next level. Okay.
Yeah, and if you want to talk about something that's more tangible, he gets to the free throw line a ton.
He does.
And that's when he's a young kid, and he's gonna keep on doing that stuff. His mentality never wavers. That's another tangible that you can say, in the biggest spotlight in NBA, like he's just there chugging along. So I still give him time. I still have faith in the guy, and I'm not ready to down him on any format.
But you gotta. Okay, I get you. This is the just trying to understand. I still don't understand, but it's cool. I guess I don't understand people who don't fans, and not just you, Eddie C. Fans who focus on the intangibles and all of that stuff, which is good, but don't see the actual on court stuff. Like, what's the path forward? But I hear you.
Hmm.
I hear
Yeah,
you. Appreciate
when you can there's somebody on our team that you can probably look at and say, that player when he came out, he didn't look like he does now, and that player had a lot of intangibles coming into the league. You know what I'm saying? He was a two-time collegiate champion. You know what I'm saying? He was taken in the second round, and Jalen Brunson now at 26 years old, he's the captain of the USA FIBA team, and look how he's playing right now. So there's paths to where you're gonna get to. You just can't um, just give up on somebody at certain certain times of their career so early on. I think, in my opinion.
you. Okay. Okay. All right.
Can't be mad.
Appreciate you, Eddie C.
No, I appreciate you guys, man. I always listen and I always drop in. I love listening to you guys, and I love listening to you guys take. I've always appreciated everything that you do for the community and stuff. Obviously, my man Boogie up there always brings the energy, and well respected in the community, and everybody here on the platform, man. It's great to always have you guys, so we can listen to when we're like I'm right now. I'm at work, so just listen to you guys and just have some peace of mind.
Salute, man. Salute,
Thanks for
salute.
calling in, bro. Thanks for
Yeah,
checking in.
definitely, for sure. All right, I guess
Would-
yeah.
it
Somebody
would
want
be
to say
nice
shout
to-
out to
it would-
Ron. Shout out to Ron Cleveland. Appreciate
Ron Cleveland, man.
Call him out.
it. Yeah, I appreciate it. Any last words before we get out of here? I mean, we want to do these shows. We got the 3 hour.
Queen, I was hoping Knicks 100 GM would call, because they're doing a lot of all caps posting, and RJ this, RJ that.
I called him out earlier, but it's all good.
It's all good. We an hour and 47. If we can keep it to an hour and 30, you guys are gonna want to come back on the show. I'm talking about the panel.
Yeah.
Right,
You got
right.
3 hour shows, they're gonna be like, nah, I can't rock with Queen in there. So we trying to keep it to like an hour and a half on Tuesdays and have our long show on
Thursday.
On Thursdays. So we out of here. But any last words, fellas? Anything said today that kind of changed your mind on RJ Barrett, or something you haven't thought about?
No, not really, man. It had a lot of good takes tonight. Shout out to Corey Lee and Eddie C. I think they brought the intangibles, but the far as the skill set and what he's bringing to the team, they haven't convinced me to change my mind of what have RJ done to improve every year. So I hear Eddie C. He still want to give him hope. He still want to wait to see what he can bring to the table. But I think after 5 years now, going into his 5th year, and you keep bringing up he's only 22, he's only 23. Look, man, you have other players that's young as him is really doing it in the game right now, and just as his age. So I think that whole age thing is an excuse, you know, in my opinion. I'm kind of tired of that. But shout out to those guys, you know, they're entitled to their opinion. And but no, nothing can change my mind at this time, Queen. Nothing.
Yeah. Anybody else?
Just
If
want to
y'all haven't
tell the
subscribed to
chat.
the newsletter yet, make sure you do. It's awesome. She really had really excellent newsletter. It was 2 weeks in a row, but excellent stuff. If you're not subscribed to the newsletter, you're missing out. She's an incredible writer, just like she's an incredible hostess. So support her any way you can. Like, share, subscribe, and
hit the
thanks
like
for
button.
rocking with us. Yeah, that too.
Appreciate you.
I don't want to steal your thunder there.
Oh no. Just we all keep reminding them, man. Hit that like button. Hit the like button on the way out.
Definitely. And I pinned the link to the newsletter to the top of the chat. And when you read the newsletter at the bottom, subscribe. You can see where there's a lot of views, over 150 views, but the subscriptions are not there. So hit the subscribe button so it can come right to your mailbox once I complete it. Next week, Mitchell Robinson.
Wow.
So I'm gonna do a podcast with Jeff, you know, in support of Mitch. If there's anybody out there that want to jump on the podcast, that's I'm not gonna say hate. Somebody's calling in. Do we got time for a call? Should we just
take the one call? Take the one call.
We take that last one.
All right. Salute, family.
Man.
Oh, Ron.
What's going on, Queen?
How you doing?
Man, I'm doing good, man. Shout out to y'all, man. How you doing, man? Hey, I've been staying away from these blogs, man, and these podcasts. Right now, I'm gonna tell y'all personally, I'm not excited with what we doing. We regressing in my book. I'm gonna tell you right now, until the front office do something better, we regress. You look at the fact we with the Obi, we don't have a replacement for Julius Randle. We don't have a backup to Julius Randle coming off of injured ankle where he's had surgery, and we know Tibbs gonna run them guys major minutes. We don't have a backup power forward. We still don't have a true small forward on this team. We go out signing a bunch of two-way guys. And then this is my problem too, being ex-military. And anybody who's been ex-military knows this. When you start a mission, you finish it. And what I mean by that, look at what this front office been doing in the offseason. We know we need a small forward, so we try to get Paul George. I understand. Hey, it was too much. To try to get him. I understand that, but you recognize that you need a small forward. Then what happens? They pivot from that. They try to go get a point guard, a backup point guard that they still need. That didn't materialize. Then you go get DiVincenzo. So to me, the Knicks front office is all over the place, man. They don't complete the mission, and that's a problem for me. If you identify a problem, you fix that first. Now let me get to the elephant in the room. RJ Barrett, I'm gonna tell y'all like this. RJ is at his ceiling for me. I don't see nothing, no change in RJ from year one to now. It's still the same guy, and nobody talks about this. I'm gonna shake some people up with this one. You know why RJ always starts slow? Queen, you know why?
I'm not sure.
RJ comes in out of shape. Notice how slow he is early in the season. That's a classic case of being out of shape. The guy comes in heavy, and I hear a lot of people even saying, "Oh, RJ put on too much weight. He put on too much of this. Oh, he got to play himself. He plays himself in games." And answer this: during the offseason, you see a lot of these guys doing open runs. You don't ever see RJ playing in those 5-on-5. None of that. You always just see him working one-on-one with a trainer. So nobody talks about that aspect. I'm pretty much sure this guy comes in out of shape, and that's why he struggles with his footwork. If you notice, he got better defensively, at near the end of the season. The same thing the last 3 years with RJ, man. RJ ain't done nothing to show me that he's gotten better. Now, I will give him this, and this is his defense, because we all know they had to play and gas up to get him out of town a couple times. You know, they was calling for his head during the playoffs. But when RJ started balling in that playoff, he shocked me. He really did, and I have to give him kudos for that. That's why I ain't gonna kill him completely. But so far as me expecting anything else to change with RJ's game, man, I would be crazy to think anything else gonna change from his game. I don't expect it. I just really feel like he's at his ceiling, and it is what it is, man. It ain't a bad place to be, because when you know what your strength is, you know what your weakness is, you stay away from it. What do you need to do? Stay away from that 3-point line. Stop shooting a bunch of threes, because it's feast the family with them threes, and we know that. He can come out tonight and be 4 for 4. The next night he can go 0 for 8. So stay away from the 3-point line. He don't need to shoot no more, maybe 3 or 4 threes a game. Do what you do best. Get downhill, get to the free throw line, and concentrate on the mid-range game. And that's what all I'm expecting from RJ. It is what it is. It ain't no secret. The front office was going to trade the guy a couple times. Right. If they felt that they were going to trade him clean, they feel like he's at his ceiling.
Right.
If they felt like he had another gear to go, his name would have never been mentioned in none of these trades. Yeah. So, man, hey, y'all have a good night, man. But like I said, I ain't gonna say much more about the front office on what they got. I'm reserving the rest of my judgment for them when the season starts. But what we got going on right now, I'm hearing people talking about 50+ wins. Man, we could do good to get 45 to 48 wins. Mm-hmm. Talking 50+, you have to be an exceptional team, and we are right now, as far as I'm concerned, this team, our depth is not good. And Emmanuel quickly, I don't know what's going to happen with him, because he may fall off a cliff after what happened, what we saw in the playoffs. His confidence is he totally rocked. So let's call it like you see it. Ain't but 2 guys we can count on this team right now offensively, night in and night out, and that's Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson. Right. Everybody else is iffy, and that's the truth. Whether you like it or you don't like it.
Right.
And with that, man, I'm out, man. Y'all have a good night.
Appreciate you calling out.
That was a call of the night. The call of the night.
All right. Well, we out of here. Anybody else want to say something real quick?
Yeah, I was gonna say before the phone call that came in. I was gonna say that coming into next year, everybody know who all the eyes is gonna be on RJ, because he's got the money, and they want to know. Everybody wants to know what is he gonna do. But my thing is, if he doesn't perform, and the fans come to reality and they turn on him, and more than what they did Julius, can you handle that? Can you handle the fans getting on you? Because Julius don't prove he can handle it. Even his worst season was a good number. At that power forward position, he still was top 5. His worst season. So can you handle it, RJ? Because the odds is on RJ right this year coming. To me, that's why we putting out so much topic about RJ, because everybody know he got the money. And it's his 5th year. You got to show something, dude. You got to show it. Especially us fans, we tough.
Word.
For sure. And with that, look forward to the two audio podcasts, at least one with Jeff Claft. I have to find, somebody else for Mitchell Robinson. My newsletter will be out Monday morning on Mitchell Robinson. So I'm going to start doing my deep dive now in the next day, the next day or so. And then next week, we're right back here Tuesday, 8:30 p.m. talking Mitchell Robinson. So that should be a lot of fun.
That should be good too.
Yeah. Until next time, family.
You tune in, that means you're feeling the vibe. The bell rung, you already been subscribed. Right now, the queen, she on live. Please pull over the whip, no phoning when you drive. Dope Soul, sporting with the talk. First lady from New York, New York. All my people, you rocking with the chat. That like button would tell me where you at. Step from the NBK. Wanna raise up NBK. Hey, real lady, where she holding it down. No matter way how you feel, she gon' greet you with a smile.
Sister, you one of a kind.
Yes.
Sister, it's time you shine.